Hi there folks, and welcome back to another quarantine trivia short round. This is our new slightly shorter format. We're still doing the big quiz on Sundays, but I'll put some of these out in the meantime. As you can see there, we're joined here by short round from Indiana Jones. So these are going to be 10 questions, one subject, could be any old subject. This week, or this time even, the subject is the Beatles. Surely everyone knows everything about the Beatles, so here's hoping you do very well in this round. So, get straight on. Question number one. What is the most played Beatles track on Spotify, the streaming music service, as of April 2020? Or today, as I'm recording this, but I'll put April 2020 in case you're watching this back later. So again, what is the most played track by the Beatles on Spotify as of April 2020? Question number two. In which song would you find Desmond and Molly Jones? So these are characters in a Beatles song. Which song is it? Desmond and Molly Jones. Question number three. On the famous Abbey Road album cover, which Beatle is crossing the road first? I did a question on the Abbey Road album cover the other day, but this one's a little bit different, so I think we're okay there. Question number four. What was the Beatles' first film? So the Beatles appeared in a number of feature films over the course of their career, but which was the first? Okay. Question number five. Which member of the band was a member of Rory Storm and the Hurricanes before joining the Beatles? So obviously they had jobs before they became Beatles. In other bands, and they got together. So again, which member of the band was a member of Rory Storm and the Hurricanes before joining the Beatles? If you're not sure, you've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right if you guess. Question number six. Which album apparently took over 700 hours to record? Okay, so that's quite a long time to record an album. 700 hours for a single album. Which one? Question number seven. What was the Beatles' first single to sell 1 million copies? Okay, first single to sell 1 million copies. Question number eight. Which Beatles song inspired the most cover versions? Obviously, there's a lot of cover versions of a lot of Beatles songs, but one of them has inspired more cover versions than any other. Which one? Question number nine. Which Beatles song did Frank Sinatra call the greatest love song ever written? Showing his quite an accolade there, especially from Old Blue Eyes. So which Beatles song did Frank Sinatra call the greatest love song ever written? And question number 10, last one in the short round. Who played sitar on Norwegian Wood? Okay, so who played sitar on Norwegian Wood? Okay, I don't know if that means the sitar was made of Norwegian wood anyway, but the song certainly was. Okay, so if you need a bit more time on the questions, just pause the video because we're about to go on to the answers. Okay, so here we go with the answers. Okay, so number one, what is the most played Beatles track on Spotify as of April 2020? This one might be a bit surprising. It's not one of the most obvious ones that you'd think of, but it's Here Comes the Sun. It's got nearly 455 million listens, which is quite a lot. Interestingly, I wrote this question nearly 6 months ago, and in the 6 months since I initially wrote it, the amount of plays has gone up by nearly 75 million in just 6 months. So it's a very popular song, and I've got to assume it's not just one person sitting listening to it. So, question number two. In which song would you find Desmond and Molly Jones? Now that is Obla-Dee, Obla-Da. Life goes on. Voila. Okay, question number three. On the famous Abbey Road album cover, which Beatle is crossing the road first? Well, that is John Lennon in his white suit. Question number four. What was the Beatles' first film? As I say, that appeared in many. Things like Yellow Submarine, Help and whatnot, but their first one was A Hard Day's Night. Question number 5. Which member of the band was a member of Rory Storm and the Hurricanes before joining the Beatles? Probably a pretty decent move because I don't think Rory and the Storm are still going, but it's Ringo Starr. Okay. Question number 6. Which album apparently took over 700 hours to record? Apparently it was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, so we'll let them away with it because it's a pretty good album. Question number 7. What was the Beatles' first single to sell 1 million copies? Well, that was She Loves You. It was released in August 1963. It was the band's 4th single. It achieved the fastest sales of any record in the UK up to that time, selling 750,000 copies in under 4 weeks. Remained the biggest selling record of the UK until 1978, when Mull of Kintyre by McCartney's post-Beatles band Wings surpassed it in sales. Question number 8. Which Beatles song inspired the most cover versions? I would hope you take a guess at this, even if you're not sure. Lots and lots of cover versions out there, but it is Yesterday. It has actually inspired more cover versions of for this song than by any other song ever written. Okay. Question number 9. Which Beatles song did Frank Sinatra call the greatest love song ever written? It's caused a bit of friction in the band apparently because it was Something, which was written by George Harrison, not by the usual writing pair of Lennon and McCartney, and apparently annoyed Lennon no end. But Sinatra said this about Harrison's song. And question number 10. Who played sitar on Norwegian Wood? It was George Harrison again. So there we go. That is our answers for the Beatles round. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for taking part. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, or what other social media options are available to you if you want to retweet us. I'm not sure if we're on Twitter or not, maybe. The more you share and like and whatnot, the more I know that you're enjoying the content, and the more content we'll create. So you can find us on YouTube on our channel here. Or we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/quarantinetriv, and we've got our own little website as well at quarantinetrivia.seanholroyd.com. So thank you very much and good night.